Hello guys, good day once again here from here. This is JXZ Technology. I welcome you all to this another series on Python full tutorial course. So now in this series, in the last series, we discussed about what parameter and arguments, what are they really is, and then we explored to some little examples of how you can create your parameters and how you can input your arguments. But in this tutorial I want to talk about three things here, three good things, which is left on our Python functions. And the three things that we are going to be discussing about here are: number one is arbitrary arguments, which simplify args like this, args. So args means arbitrary arguments. So and then the other argument that we'll be talking about here is the keywords arguments. And then the last on the list here is arbitrary keywords arguments, which is quirks. So now we'll be discussing more about these three types of arguments that we have in Python functions. So now let's not waste most of our time. Let's just dive into our tutorial. Now let's create a functions. Let's just name it, like, let me just call it greet again. So now in this we want to discuss about the arbitrary arguments, which is args. Now what is arbitrary argument? So if you do not know how many arguments that will be passed into your functions, you can add asterisk before the parameter name, so in the function definition. So in this way the function will receive a tuple of arguments and can access the items accordingly. Now let's just do an example. Now let's say we do not know how much names that we might have here. Maybe we do not know how much names that we might have here, but we can try to add arbitrary arguments like this. So firstly you need to start with asterisk like this, and then followed by the name of your argument. Let me just say my argument name is name. So asterisk name. Now simplify it, allow users to add many arguments to this function as possible. Now let me just say, okay, now let's say print formatted string of, let's say hello, then we can just call our argument here now. So hello name. Now so now in this format, in this code, let's try to call our functions now. So greet, so you can put any name, as many as possible. You can just put boy, or you can just put John. Let's say you put John. You can input as many names as possible. You can just call this maybe X star. You can call this maybe Chris. Sorry, I need to put it in the string. Maybe Chris. So you can call as many as possible of argument that you can input when you are using as arbitrary argument. So now you can just add another one. You can just call this ade. So in this series now, so when we run this code, we should have all these data like hello in a tuple. So now let's see what we have on our screen. Now do you see that hello then followed by the tuple? So now automatically arbitrary argument created the tuple for this list of names that we might add as our argument. So this is what we call arbitrary arguments in Python functions. So meaning that you can work with these arbitrary arguments like this. If you don't know the exact numbers of parameter or of argument that the users that you are interacting with might input in their code, it might not be one name, it might not be two names, it might not be three names, it might be more than four names. So you will need to add asterisk before the parameter here. So you adding the asterisk before the parameter gave the users more insights of letting them to add more arguments to these functions. So that is on arbitrary arguments. Now let's now go to what we call keywords arguments. Now let's just go. Now let's say we define another functions, and then we call this function, we can call it greet. So this time around, this is greet, this is a greeting, so it's not the same functions. So in this time around, all you are just doing here is very simple. you can just try to create a keywords argument by just referring to this set. Like let's say we have child 1 now. Let's say we have child 1, then you can create this child 2, and let's say we have child 3. So now this is keywords arguments. So these are the keywords that we have as our arguments. So now you can just say print formatted string of hello, all of them. So hello child, then you say hello child 1 and child 2 and child 3. So now these are keywords arguments. So in this series, so when users is calling the functions here now, when user is calling the functions here now, if you run this code, then you should see an error that says greeting functions is missing 3 required positional arguments for child 1, child 2 and child 3. So now in this series, how do we solve these problems? You can just create, like, you can just say child 1 equals to child 1, like this. You are just creating a tuple list. Some are not even tuple list, something similar to dictionaries. So you can just say child 2 then equals to child 2, or not, don't let us use child, let's use name, let's use normal rename. Let's say John this time around, and let's say Sarah this time around for the child 2, and then for the child 3. So now let's say we have, for the child 3 we have maybe extra. So now when we run this code, then we should see this format: hello John and Sarah and Esther. This is what we called keywords arguments. Don't forget that this is arbitrary arguments, and this is what we called keywords arguments. Are you getting me, guys? So now there's one thing that I want to do again here is by copying this particular we want to go into the last keywords argument that we have here, which is arbitrary keywords argument. It is called keywords. So if you do not know how many keywords argument that will be passed into your functions, and so you can add 2 asterisk before the parameter name, like this keywords. So in the function definitions, so this way we tell the function will receive a dictionaries of arguments and can access the items accordingly. So meaning that you can just create another functions like this. You can just create another functions like, now this time around is greet underscore user, but in this series you are adding 2 asterisk, like you can just say name, add that 2 asterisks like that. So you can just say print formatted string of hello, then followed by the keywords variable, which is name, right? I think name, yes. So not to waste most of times, you just have to copy the data here, because we are adding more data. So you just have to copy that data. So then call the greet users. So now calling the greet users, now we can add all this, and we can even add something like child. You can even add something like child, let's say child 4 to this now, and add it here. Like you can just say this person will now be added now. So these keywords arguments gave you the insight to add as many. This one is only limit. Note that the difference between the greetings keywords arguments and the greet users as arbitraries arguments, keywords arguments here, is just that this one is only limited to 3 particular points. So this is child 1, child 2, child 3. So we already declared 3 here, but in here now we don't know the essence of what's the keywords argument that the users might enter. So it might be more than 4, it might be 100, we don't care. But all we just have to do in this function is to tell the functions that aesthetic name. So how many names the user might add to this argument doesn't concern us, just help them add them in form of tuple. So now do you see that we have them in form of dictionary rather Jerry? So this is hello, this one is for arbitrary argument, why this one is keywords argument, why this one is now the what arbitrary keywords argument for Python. So hello, then child1 equals to this in form of dictionaries like this. So guys, thanks for joining the videos today, because this takes us to the end of topic called Python functions. So in the next series, we'll be exploring more on the examples of projects that we can work with everything that we have learned so far, with functions and other aspects of Python's topics that we have covered so far. So in the next tutorial video, I will be showing you guys how we can create a simple product registration systems on a console base with Python. So guys, I will see you in the next video. Thanks.